Howdy, everyone. Tad Stevens on the Micro Success Secrets podcast, where we focus on business, psychology, and marketing, and how you can use that in your business daily and long term. Today, I'm talking with Natalie Forest. Natalie, how are you doing? And if you would, let us know a little bit about yourself.
Well, hi, Tat. Good to see you again. Good to hear you again. I'm doing okay today. And thank you for having me. I think this is a really important show. I love what you're doing. A little bit about me. I always find that very interesting because you have about 30 seconds to give a whole life story. So I'm going to
Yeah.
try and do that in like 10 seconds. My obvious answer is I'm Natalie, full stop. Now, I think you want to know a little bit more. I'm the CEO, president, and visionary of my own business, which is transformational, intuitive mentor in life and business. So I approach people holistically, and I understand that entrepreneurs are people as well. And it has to be together. If your personal life is not in alignment, then your business life will not be in alignment, and so forth. I talk about leadership. I talk about being yourself. I also am the vice president of operations for the Los Angeles Tribune and the CEO of a small little SaaS company that's going to blow your mind that is called I Do Systems. And that's sort of what I do in my business world.
Awesome. And totally agree. In fact, that's a lot of the things we talk about on this show is what you mentioned is that if your personal and your business lives aren't aligned, there's gonna be conflict.
Mhm.
There's gonna be friction. So let's get started.
Mhm.
I always start off with a question that I really like. I hope you like it as well. But it's like if you could take a time machine and go back in time, and
Mhm.
you could change one life or business or both decision. First off, would you change it? And if you would change it, what would you change it to?
I love that question because we always claim that we want to go back and we would change things, right?
Don't we?
Um, I know, and the more I think about it, there are a lot of things that I think, I could have, I should have, and all of that. And I strike all of those words out of my vocabulary on purpose. I wouldn't be here where I am today if it hadn't been for everything that I have experienced, everything that I have gone through, and everything that I have learned. So changing things, it's sort of like, I don't know, going in a time machine and messing with everything. And then at the end, everything is different.
Yeah.
I don't think so. You know, I actually don't think that I want to change anything because I've learned from it. Now, honestly saying, are there things that I wish had gone a little bit differently
Of
at that
course.
point in time? Yeah, but come on, I'm here. I live a pretty good life. I'm happy. So, no, I wouldn't change a thing.
Okay. Well, super. And just to let you know, and everybody that's listening, is we get a lot of that. I mean, a lot
Hmm.
of people understand that they
Yeah.
are more than the sum or at least the sum of their experiences. And so changing that, like you said, would mess with things. So, okay, kind of related to that.
Hmm.
You go back in the time machine, you look around, and
Okay.
you see one positive decision that you made. Again, business or life or both. One positive decision that you made, and it's one of those things where you look at everything, or you look at it in a way that everything in your life happened before that decision, and everything happened after. It's a dividing point. Do you have one of those that you'd share?
I think the most important decision throughout my life is my focus on family. That is the most important thing for me, and that guides me in everything. It's where I get my strength from. It's where I get my inspiration from. And the extension of that is the best decision after that, or as part of that I've ever made, is having a child and allowing her to become the person she wants to be, because that teaches me every day.
Oh, absolutely. I have kids, so yes, I know those lessons.
Yeah, it's awesome. And it's one of those things that you're never ready for. But I think to me, come on, you never know what
No,
comes
no,
out
you really
next.
don't. Yeah.
It's like, wow. But I think the family piece, to me, that is the absolute most important. I'll leave anything, I'll drop anything for the family, because that's where, I don't know, that's sort of like my, what would you call it, my place of peace. That's my place where I rejuvenate. That's why I do what I do, because it's all about humanity and improving life for everybody.
Okay. Excellent. Excellent. So along that journey,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm sure being in business, running your own business, running, assets and moving things around and having to make decisions, you get stuck.
Mm-hmm.
You come
Mm-hmm.
upon situations that can be big, can be small. I mean, for me, one of the most frequent is copywriting. I get writer's block. I get stuck.
Mm,
But you can also, like, starting a new business, going into a new career, things like that, or you
mm-hmm.
can have big decisions, buying a house, getting married. Um, do you have methods, tools, techniques that you use for any kind of getting stuck that you use and that you advise your clients that you could share?
Yes, absolutely. Intuition. Um,
You're
it
the
is.
first person that said that, and I love that. That's
Well,
awesome.
come on, I'm intuitive, right? So I think intuition, your first reaction, there's a little bit of a difference between gut and intuition, but your first response, I should say, to something that comes up. Does the hair in the back of your neck stand up? Does it give you that warm, fuzzy feeling? That's my first step. Now, after that, number one, I meditate on it, and then I will ask some of my advisors or trusted people in my life. Absolutely. So just because of intuition, I will not necessarily, not always, just based on intuition, make a decision. But I've done that, and they've all been good.
Hmm.
Um, because sometimes, since we're human beings, sometimes we have an intuition, but we feel loyalty, we feel responsibility, so
All
we
right.
hesitate to follow that drive, even if people tell us, until it comes to that point where everything collides and you're like, gee, I wish I had listened to that like 5 years ago. Right? So it is intuition, and then a little bit of analysis and trusted advice after, with the knowing that the people that I ask for advice, they fully understand that I may not take it. that's
Yeah.
that's how I go for advice. Yeah. So intuition for me is always step number one.
Okay. And that, like I said, I had not heard that before. I think
Mm-hmm.
that is
Mm-hmm.
awesome. Okay. So to kind of roll it all up, if you could go back and start over, or no,
Mm-hmm.
let me put it another way. If something happened like a global pandemic and it
Oh.
changed your business radically and you had
Mm-hmm.
to start over or had to pivot or had to make a major move, would
Mm-hmm.
you do the same thing you're doing now? Would you be doing what you're doing now, or would you go for something different? What would you do?
I want to say yes and yes.
Oh, again, that's a first. I love it, but
Yeah, well,
I hadn't heard that.
I have to. Because you've heard that, I do a number of things, and I have one of my peeve projects that I've been working on for a few years, and I keep getting sidetracked a little bit.
Hmm.
And so I think I would spend more time on that.
Okay.
But it still involves what I'm doing today, because I am who I am.
And I
Excuse
and I
me.
love that. Yes, you would be doing what you're doing now, but you would also do something different. And
Hmm.
it hadn't come up, and that is my favorite answer for that. I'll make sure I tag that in the
Oh,
show
good,
notes with
good,
the timestamp
good.
so people can go there. Uh, so,
Well,
so
I think it's
absolutely.
just important. It's I am who I am, so I always be intuitive, transformational, mentoring in one way or another. I might just focus a little bit more on the other avenue, which is related to education, which is my background,
Hmm. Okay.
versus this entrepreneurship completely, um, combining them, because I've always been however you want to call it, like life coaching is, I think, the official term that people use, even
Right.
when I
Yeah.
was teaching. So I think our youth and adults and parents, oh, excuse me, need a lot more guidance.
Oh, I totally agree. I think that is a. I think there's a huge opportunity there. Put it that way.
Yeah, and I think we've neglected it,
Hmm. Well, and I mean, I think also that that is one of the reasons that the coaching industry, with all of its, struggles, that's why it's doing so well. There's a
Mm-hmm.
need for it, and
Right.
you know, there's a need, and people see that, and people warm up to that real easily. So, okay,
Yeah.
super, 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 super. Thank you very, very much for sharing, and for your time. And the two things that I'm going to mark a couple of things, but I'm definitely going to mark the gut and intuition, and doing the same and something different in the show notes, because I think those are both just awesome. Um,
Mm-hmm.
is there anything that you would like to close with, and anything that you have that that would benefit the viewers and listeners? Contact you, something off your website, whatever you have.
Well, absolutely. I mean, I always love to answer people's questions. So I'm very easy to find. My website is my name, natalieforest.com. I'm all over social media. So if you just want to drop me a line or tag me, I will try to get back with you. If you are interested, I do have a little gift, I guess, which is a journal. I believe that we get often stuck because we have so many subconscious things going on in the back of our
Hmm.
mind. And
Yeah.
I have a little journal that if people would like to get it, it's very simple. It's a bit.ly link, bit.ly/free JOUR1 for free journal. And all it does it, you get the journal, you can work on it. And then if you've got questions about it, you can reach out.
Okay, super. And I'll make sure all of that website, that bit.ly link, is in
Hmm.
the show notes and in the description for anywhere where we post the video, or excuse me, the audio file for this podcast. Natalie, thanks again. Really appreciate your time and sharing. Thanks everyone for attending and listening in today. Have a very productive week, and be the very, very best at whatever you are doing. Until next time, this is Tad Stevens with Micro Success Secrets. Bye for now.
Bye.